What's up, everybody? So you want a crypto? I'm Joe. Today, RebelBots, Zoil Wars. They just had a land sale. They have the RebelBots token. There is the 10,000 Gen 1 NFTs on Ethereum, as well as the lands and the fighting robots for NFTs coming up for the June launch of the game. We're going to dig pretty deep into this, and I'll kind of look at the amount of lands that the RebelBots released versus how many lands there are on Axie Infinity. And then, we'll kind of do a little bit of rough math and see where that's going to put us as far as the growth potential on this project. If that sounds interesting to you, share, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think about this project. It's getting a little more attention. I think the last time I talked about it was in September when we bought our RebelBot for the channel, number 1900. So, if you want to, there's a couple plots left in our kingdom. If you'd like to join, go ahead. 1900, that's the bot. All right, so the backstory, basically, 2052, the robots have to flee and they go to this planet and they need oil and they start a war for Zolium. There's an adventure mode, so battle vicious aliens and complete daily tasks, challenges for Zoil rewards. Here's a little map, kind of like the Mario, or many of the games like that where you move along. And then you have the multiplayer mode, 3v3, kind of Axie Infinity style, card based. Players in PvP battles collect game resources, earn rewards, and climb up the leaderboards to win season. So there's a lot of emphasis is based on like the leaderboard and winning and stuff in different kingdoms, because there's a 6% prize pool that goes out to the leader in each of the kingdoms, and then the RebelBot owner is in charge of his aspect of that stuff. Plus, I think he gets a 4% cut. And then depending on the rarity, you get a cut on the land sale. We'll look at that here in just a second in the white paper. The different kinds of bots, 3 different kinds. You can change up the torsos, the arm, left and right, the legs as a unit, and the head. 10,000 original RebelBots, those are the Gen 1s. And these are the Kingdom Lords. The limited land plots. So there's 150,000 initial land plots. 10,000 of those are going to go to each of the original 10,000 Gen 1 NFT holders. And then there's 10,000 that went to marketing. And then the other 130,000 are the ones that are open sale right now. Land is a precious and limited resource on Zolium. Each player on Zolium needs to own a land plot within the protection of one of the RebelBots kingdoms. So you do not need to own one of the NFTs, like the original 10,000 to play. However, you will need to own a land and 3 fighting bots in order to play the game. So you do need the land NFT. Right here, as a player in Zoil Worlds, you'll need to build and control a team of fighting bots. Each fighting bot is built from 5 different parts. We talked about that. And there's military, industrial, and engineering. The military green, industrial yellow, engineering blue. The roadmap, we have the token launch in February, Zolium land sale in May, cinematic game trailer coming out soon. There is one out, but I guess it's going to be a little bit better. The marketplace launch says April 2022. Guilds management dashboard May. And then everything, all of this is leading up into the game launch, which says June 2022 right now. And then at the end of the year, early next year, they're looking at a DAO. Here's the guilds. So they have a unique renting system, scholars, management tools, gaming courses, all sorts of stuff. I'll put the links below. There'll be timestamps. So there's a long backstory on this. And follow this link if you want, but it gives you all these different missions, and each one of these is a long story, and they just kind of build on each other. And you can have backstories on each of the RebelBots themselves. So like ours is 1900 Axie, and we can see the rarity is in the 9,000, so it's one of the less rare ones. I just like the way it looks with the bowler hat and everything. And then first generation RebelBot, suns out, guns out. That's how Axie gets that dark mahogany tan. Cheeky fellow with a heart of gold and a temper that could smelt it. Factory code AKZA. You can look at any of the other ones too that you want that way. Alright, so here is the white paper. We'll roll through this. It's pretty long, pretty in depth. It's a good job. Try not to get too much. So gameplay mechanics known to millions. So they're trying to kind of build off that popularity from the Axie Infinity. They want to create simple first-time user experiences for non-NFT. Trying to get in, that money that's not used to the crypto. Basically, they want people to play the game and not really realize that that it's a crypto thing. Launch the game with the help of thousands of robot owners. Create a sustainable play-to-earn economy. Build the RebelBots universe in which players can play their characters in multiple games. So this is going to be an expansive project. And a lot of what they talk about is expansive. And they have big backers too, Ubisoft and a bunch of others. Skill-based games. So they really push... the game will have to be primarily skill-based and almost zero randomness and little to no luck involved in the gameplay. In addition, they wanted the players to compete in more than one kind of tournament, allowing players which aren't ranked at the very top to still have a chance of winning a tournament. And they prioritize skill over pay to win. And they say that a lot in a lot of different ways. And it's trying to build a social network, high production quality. This is a little more of the backstory here. The Zoil, that's extraterrestrial oil, is what that stands for. So the game itself is going to consist of thousands of different kingdoms, 10,000 of them, and those are going to be broken up by rarity for each of the NFT holders on Ethereum. Each kingdom was built by one of the original Rebel 1 bots. Like that, not all kingdoms are equal. And it'll break down the chart here in a second. In order to continue protecting their kingdoms, the RebelBots divided their lands into smaller lands in equal size. So some have 10, and I think it goes up to 26. And these are offered to players who are willing to protect their lands. Right now they're $75 a piece. You get 3 RebelBots in exchange for the grants to pump Zoil of the kingdom soil. And there's 6 different types of lands so far that have been that are out there. And they're pretty equal on rarity as far as the lands go. We'll look at those in a second. So the Kingdom Lords are the Gen 1s. And here's your rarity. And if you want to find out where your rarity is, you can go to like rarity.tools and just type in, ours was 1900 and hit lookup. And it'll tell you 9801. So then you'll know where you're at. And then here's a list of the most, or the rarest in the group. So at 9,000, we would have 10 lands within our kingdom. And then there'll be 10,000 lands in the total tier. And then all of this adds up. So we'll get 1% of the revenue share for the land sale. And then the Kingdom Lords on top of that are able to generate additional income from the royalties received from the kingdom's players, aka the landowners that bought, as they use their kingdom land to produce Zoil. Of every Zoil produced in adventure mode, players will share a 4% royalty to the Kingdom Lord, the NFT owner, and a 6% royalty to the kingdom's treasury. And the treasury is used as a prize pool for the kingdom's top-ranked players at the end of every season. So all of this will add up, and then you'll have incentives that you get paid out. And it is up to the Kingdom Lord to lead his kingdom to victories against other kingdoms by voting each month on the kingdom card, incentivizing his kingdom players, and more. If the Kingdom Lord fails to perform the actions required from this, then his royalties, that 4%, are dumped into the kingdom's treasury, and then the landowners and players, where they're able to get that. And then there's also the kingdom's treasury. The game will allocate additional prizes to kingdoms which have the most engaged players within the game's social media channels and stuff like that. So the lands themselves, we'll look at the land, but they're broken down into a headquarters, a fighting bot barracks, a fighting bots factory, a Zoil Silo, Spark Capacitor, Part Shop, and Intel Command. The games were launched 150,000 lands. Again, 10,000 to the RebelBot owners, 10,000 for marketing, 130,000 to just the world. So once you get the land, you're not going to get your 3 bots until the game launches. So you can, if you sell the land now, then whoever has the land when the game launches, that's who's going to get those RebelBots. But each one gets 3 fighting bots. And then as the game expands, so the Gen 1, and they talk a lot about expansion and growth. So they do say that there may be Gen 2 RebelBots, Gen 3, Gen 4, so on. And the original 150,000 lands that were for the Generation 1, so if they expand to go to 450,000 total, then the Gen 2s would basically do the same thing that the Gen 1s did. They would get the 150,000 and they would be distributed probably similarly to that. And they would just double what Gen 1 got. So if you had the 10 lands, now you would have the revenue from 20 lands. And then if they did this again and they needed to get up to 1 million lands, and they had that many players and that much going on, then Gen 1 would now double again and get 600,000. So you would go from those 20, now you'd have 40, and that would be at the minimum. And at the top, you would be over 100 at this point. So you can own multiple lands, but you can only play one at any given time with your wallet. If the player chooses, he can rent out the other ones that you're not playing, though. And here's a picture of what one of them looks like with the different regions that we talked about up here. So every player in the game is part of a kingdom. Players can choose to which kingdom they would like to join by acquiring a land in that specific kingdom. Players can participate in all the game modes. And when you buy the lands, if you want to pick a certain land or have random land, you can do whatever you want. You can play in any of them. Tournaments and events. In order to start playing, players will need to build their initial fighting robot army. The minimum amount is 3 robots. And you'll get those 3 when you buy a land. And I'm not sure if that's always going to be that way. You may just have to buy robots later or get them on the marketplace. I'm not sure how it's going to go. The amount of fighting bots every player holds in his base will be determined by the amount of will determine the amount of energy he has. And there's a table right here. So robots owned, if you have only 3 to 9, then you can hold 20 max energy. But if you get up to like 25 to 50 robots, then that triples and gets up to 60 for your max energy. And the energy allows players to play in reward-based PvP battles and is charged to the maximum level on a daily basis. The game is built to allow both competitive and casual players to earn from playing. So, you can't just play indefinitely. There's limits to the game. Here's all the different parts for your robots, classes. And then each fighting bot will have 2 constant parameters and 1 dynamic. Hit points and speed are the constants. Morale will be your dynamic. Spark, Zoil. Fighting bots can be either bought on the marketplace or built using the game resources. Building a large enough army of fighting bots will increase the player's ability to store more resources. So the more robots you own, basically the more stuff you can have. That makes sense because you're going to need it. There's different classes: rarity, battery cost, damage, armor, special ability for cards. Try not to go too deep on all these just yet. Building fighting bots. Here's all the... So most of this is like working beta, real close to... It's not like, hey, we're going to have a game. It's some more gameplay. And it's sometimes, I've seen this say 10 minutes to learn in a lifetime to master on one page, and then it says 30 minutes to learn in a lifetime to master on another. But it's a game, it's a skill-based card game. And then the adventure-based mode, multiplayer mode. Here's your leagues. I'll put this link below, you can go check it out. We got a lot more to cover though. Gameplay, here's a little bit of a, gameplay. Okay, so currencies and resources. The game has 2 cryptocurrencies and 3 game currencies. Zoil. That's going to be the crypto, and it's in-game, unlimited supply. And you get it from winning PvE matches, winning PvP matches, completing daily challenges, and winning kingdom prizes. Buying parts, minting, fighting robots. That's what you use it for. The RBLS. That's the token you can get on. It's on Polygon. So it's crypto, and that's your governance. It has a limited supply. It's winning season prizes and special giveaways. It's for minting fighting bots and purchasing lands. So I'm guessing that this is what they'll use in the future instead of the USDC that we had to use this time. Energy, Spark, and parts. These are just game resources. Leaderboards, teams, season passes, investors. So Ubisoft, Overwolf, Makers Fund, Polygon. Here's your token allocation for the RBLS token. Seed was 10, private sale 9.5, public sale 3, staking 10, play to earn 30, advisors 5, team 20, liquidity 4, marketing 8.5. Token unlock schedule. It's designed for long-term growth and sustainability. So 60 months. Maybe, well, no, it's less than that. You're looking 24 to 36 months on this for most of it. And then here's your token allocation per group, total tokens, price per token, percentage. And then it talks more about the RebelBots DAO. The game is built in Unity. And the collection. Alright, so here's the Certik Audit for RebelBots. And the only thing it really had 2 for centralization and privilege, and 3 minor informationals for volatile code and coding style. 2 of which have been resolved, and then the 2 major for centralization and privilege. I don't have access to the rest of this. Alright, so some frequently asked questions on this. Zoil Wars, it's a game. You can check out all these. I'm just kind of going to go through and see if there's... So this is a good one. Is there a difference between the 2 NFTs? So yes, we have the 10,000 Gen 1s, and we have the fighting bots and the lands. They're different. The fighting bot and the RebelBots, if you have one of the original Gen 1 RebelBots, you don't use those in the game. You use the fighting bots. And those are on Polygon, these are on Ethereum. Here's the land sale. So you'll need to hook up your MetaMask beyond the Polygon network and go either get and so far land sold 83,637 of the 150, and 20 of those went to marketing in the original 10,000 NFT holders. So really there was only 130,000. You can either get a random land right here, or if you go, let's see, public land right here. So like if I wanted to get one in mine, oops. There's 5 lands still available in my kingdom if I wanted to buy one. So if you want to buy one, go ahead. 1900, welcome aboard. I'm a good landowner. I'll be a good slumlord. $75 USDC. So you'll need to go take your USDC and make sure it's in the Polygon mainnet. So if it's on Ethereum, you have to use a bridge or something. And then you get the land and you get 3 robots. And it looks like the way this is, maybe you probably get 1 of each. And those will come when the game launches. The lands are 1 of 2 NFT types required for players. The other is the robots. It's a limited supply. You will not be able to play the game without the land. Doesn't matter which kingdom. Yes. So, like we saw in the rarity, some lands are only going to have 10 kingdoms. Some of the others are going to have 26. So you can be playing against 10 players in some kingdoms, and you can be playing against 20-something in others. So keep that in mind if you're looking for, if you're going to be playing this. Granted, you're going to get higher rewards for these, I would assume, because you have more players and stuff, so probably more competitive, less competitive, but I'm not sure how that's going to all play out in the end either. see, I bought a land. When will I get the fighting bots? You get them when the land launches. And I'm not affiliated with any of them. Just an investor like you. That's it. I'm not sponsored. I haven't got anything free. If you guys want to, if you want to start your own little group and play together like that, you could take a land where, you know, I have 5 left in mine, and if you got 5 players, you could each buy a land in there, and then the 5 of you could compete. Kind of like your fantasy football league. If you want to do a fantasy RebelBots league, just find a RebelBot landowner that has enough player spots available for you, and you guys can join in. Alright, so 150,000 lands total in the Gen 1 series is what they're talking about. And I did some research on the Axie Infinity side of this, and it says right here for their land was the tokenized plots of land represented by a 301 by 301 grid. So that's what, 90,600, let's see, 301 times 3. 90,601. So a little over 90,000 for the Axie Infinity and 150,000 for RebelBots. Here's your rarity tools, just again so you can see. Links will be below. Here are your 10,000 original Gen 1 RebelBots on OpenSea. Floor price right now, 0.22 ETH, almost quarter ETH. And you're gonna, so like if we wanted to do this one, this would be 5335 if we wanted to look at the rarity. Take this, 5335. So this would be 90, so this would be on the bottom tier. Take a different one. Let's go 3046. So if you're trying to buy one of these bots and you're, so here you go, this would still be in the bottom tier. So it looks like, you know, the floor is going to get you the bottom tier for RebelBots. But you can go through and see, you might find a value. Just got to punch them through and see which ones have the rarities and the traits that you want. All right, RebelBot Zolium lands. 6 of them, blue, orange, red, green, purple, and pinkish. Floor on these really, it says 0.039, but I mean, it's $75. That's what you can buy them on the other. But at least here you can go and find out, like, you know, the rarity. So this, it'll tell you the Kingdom Lord, 2759. So far there's 5 lands that have been sold in this kingdom. And then it's Crimson Crater, 16%. So the way these are distributed is red and blue are each 16%, the Talos Terrors, and then all the other 4 are at 17%. Asimov's Ridge, again, here's your 1 of 3, and then Quantum Peak, 17%, Bronze Canyon, 17%, and Plasma Plains, 17%. RebelBots. Zolwars is a crop. Okay, so this is on CoinGecko. NFT floor price, just looking at what CoinGecko has. Basically like categories. And it talks about market cap and stuff like that. So and this is the cross-platform card battle game. Players will be able to play progress. So this is what we're talking about. Market cap right now, they say they got it about 3.5 million. Okay. So when we go to look at top play to earn, we see Axie Infinity. That's what they're shooting for. They're looking at 1.5 billion. So 3.5 million to 1.5 billion. So if they even come close to that, you're going to see some serious growth across the entire project, because the original Ethereum NFTs, they're going to gain more of their revenue from their 4%. The players are going to gain more from their 6% because it's growing and growing, especially as they generate, you know, the generation 2 lands and generation 3 or NFTs come out. Then that'll give more lands to the generation 1 owners. So really right now is not a bad time to get in on a generation 1, even a low tier 1. And you're looking before Ethereum fees about $430 for one of the Gen 1s of the original 10,000. All right. The last thing we'll just look at real quick is the Rebels token. And it's an Zoil tokens together with the game. We talked about the different levels of currencies and what they were. But this is on Polygon. So just keep that in mind. And to progress and become a competitive player in Zoil Wars and all other future games in the RebelBots universe. So this is going to be expansive again. All other future games. Players will need to hold and use the Rebels token. So right now you're using USDC. It looks like that their goal is to veer away from that and start using the Rebels token itself. And the Rebels token is a governance token, but it's needed to perform important actions in the in-game in order to progress and compete with other players. Rebels token will be the main utility token in all future titles that will emerge from the RebelBots gaming universe. So now they're talking universe, multiple titles, and other stuff. So I don't know. I'm pretty bullish. I got a dozen lands and, numbered 1900 for the channel. If you want to join us, let us know. Let me know what you think about this project. Are you excited? Do you think it sucks? Are you going to play? Do you think it can be as big as Axie? Is that just dead and over and that's old news? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment. Cheers.